There is a moment just before everything changes when the world holds its breath. You have felt it before, even if you did not recognize it at the time. That strange stillness that settles over your life right before a door opens that you did not even know existed. That peculiar quiet that descends when the universe is about to rearrange something fundamental about your path. You are standing in that moment right now, whether you realize it or not. Most people will scroll past this video. Most people will continue with their day, unaware that the next 48 hours contain a window of opportunity that will not repeat itself in exactly this way again. But something made you stop here. Something made you click. And that something is not coincidence. Because what I'm about to share with you concerns a cosmic alignment that is already beginning to work through your life, shifting things beneath the surface that you have not yet noticed. Tomorrow, the moon shifts into Virgo, and I need you to understand why this particular transition matters more than the dozens of other lunar movements that happen throughout the year. This is not just another celestial event to note on a calendar and forget. This shift is directly connected to something that happened earlier this month, something powerful that stirred your life in ways you may still be processing. There was a total lunar eclipse, a moment when the Earth positioned itself directly between the Sun and the Moon, casting a shadow that ancient civilizations believed could alter the fate of entire kingdoms. That eclipse did not pass through your life without consequence. It revealed things, it shook things loose, it brought emotions and patterns and hidden truths into a light so bright that looking away became impossible. And now something remarkable is happening. The moon is returning to the exact same sign it occupied during that eclipse, Virgo. The circle is completing itself, but not in the way you might expect. This is not a return to chaos or intensity. This is something far more valuable. This is integration. This is the moment when everything that was stirred up finally begins to settle into a form you can actually work with. Think about what happens when you shake a jar of water filled with sand and sediment. For a while, everything is cloudy, swirling, impossible to see through. But eventually the motion slows. The particles begin to drift downward, and clarity returns, perhaps even greater clarity than before, because now you can see exactly what was hidden at the bottom all along. That is precisely what is happening inside you right now. The emotional turbulence of recent weeks is settling. The confusion is organizing itself, and what is emerging is not just peace, but understanding. Virgo energy operates differently than other energies in the zodiac. It does not speak in abstractions or vague promises. It deals with the tangible world, with the specific details of how you actually live your life day to day. It asks uncomfortable questions that other energies are too polite to raise. How are you really treating your body? Where is your time actually going? What habits have you fallen into that you never consciously chose? These questions are not meant to shame you. They are meant to illuminate possibilities you have been blind to. As this moon moves into Virgo, something begins to shift in your awareness. You will start noticing things you had trained yourself to ignore. The way your energy drains at certain points in the day, the relationships that take more than they give, the patterns of thought that keep you trapped in cycles you desperately want to escape. This noticing is not punishment. It is the first step toward freedom. But here is what makes this moment truly powerful, and I need you to pay close attention to this part. The reset that is beginning does not demand dramatic action from you. It does not require you to tear your life apart and rebuild from scratch. Those kinds of changes rarely last anyway because they come from force rather than alignment. Instead, this energy opens a doorway to something far more sustainable. Small adjustments, subtle refinements, the kind of changes that seem almost insignificant in the moment but over time completely transform the landscape of your existence. There is something quietly revolutionary about paying attention to the details of your life. Most people exhaust themselves searching for grand solutions while ignoring the cracks in their foundation. They look for meaning on distant horizons while stepping over wisdom that lies directly at their feet. But the answers you have been searching for are not complicated or far away. They are hidden in the simple patterns of your everyday existence, in how you begin your mornings, in what you reach for when you feel stressed, in the small choices that accumulate into the shape of your life. And as this awareness begins to deepen, something else starts to shift alongside it. There is a pressure that has been running in the background of your existence for so long that you probably stopped noticing it years ago. The constant hum of needing to do more, to prove more, to justify your existence through endless productivity and visible achievement. That pressure begins to loosen its grip now. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but gradually, like waking from a dream you did not know you were having. You may find yourself questioning things you never questioned before. Why have you been pushing so hard? When did rest become something you had to earn rather than something you needed to survive? Who convinced you that your worth depended on your exhaustion? These questions do not arrive with easy answers, but they create space. They open doors that have been sealed shut for years, and in that opening something new becomes genuinely possible. This is where the reset truly begins. Not as a forceful change imposed from outside, but as a moment of awareness that allows you to choose differently. The universe is not demanding that you rebuild everything overnight. It is simply guiding your attention toward what is sustainable, what actually supports you, what works for you in the long run rather than just in the desperate short term. As this grounded energy settles into your life, it begins working first in the most immediate layer of your existence, your physical body, your daily rhythm. There is something almost instinctive about it, like a signal being sent through your entire system, asking you to slow down and listen more carefully to what you have been ignoring for far too long. After the emotional intensity of recent weeks, your body has been carrying more than you realized, storing tension in places you have not paid attention to, adapting to pressure in ways that were never meant to be permanent, and now, instead of pushing forward like you always have, there is a gentle but unmistakable pull to pause, to recalibrate, to restore what has been quietly depleted while you are focused on everything else. This awareness arrives not as harsh judgment, but as honest recognition. You might notice your energy levels with new clarity, finally able to distinguish between moments when you feel genuinely alive versus moments when you're simply surviving. You may become more sensitive to what you consume, how you sleep, how much stimulation you allow into your space. Virgo has a natural connection to health and the nervous system, bringing attention to small details that seem insignificant but carry profound impact over time. There is a deeper realization forming beneath all of this. The understanding that rest is not a reward you earn after exhaustion, but a necessity for basic functioning. This can feel foreign, especially if you have been operating in patterns of constant effort or chronic overwork. But the energy now reveals the true cost of that pattern. Not dramatically, not punitively, but clearly and undeniably. You may start to see how certain habits have been slowly draining you, how pushing beyond your limits has created a cycle that cannot continue indefinitely without serious consequence. With that awareness comes a natural desire to change, not from pressure or guilt, but from genuine self-respect. The smallest shifts begin to feel meaningful in ways they never did before, choosing to rest instead of forcing productivity, taking a moment to breathe instead of rushing through every transition, paying attention to what your body is actually asking for instead of overriding its signals with willpower and caffeine. At the same time, this energy begins organizing your inner world in ways that feel almost therapeutic. Thoughts that once felt scattered start coming into order. Emotions that felt overwhelming begin making sense when you finally look at them directly. Everything is being sorted, gently placed into its proper space, allowing you to see clearly what was previously blurred by too much motion and noise. This clarity does not come all at once, but builds gradually, creating a sense of stability that may have felt completely out of reach just weeks ago. And as this process deepens, you may notice something else shifting alongside it. A growing awareness of how your time and energy have been used, and where they have been seriously misaligned with what truly matters to you. Your daily structure begins to reset itself. Your habits come under review. The way you move through time starts to shift. There is a quiet honesty in this phase that you need to be prepared for. It does not judge, but it reveals. You may start recognizing patterns that no longer serve you, routines that have become automatic but not meaningful, moments where your time slips away without intention or presence. Virgo does not ignore these details. It brings them into focus, not to overwhelm you with everything that needs fixing, but to empower you with awareness of what is actually possible. This can feel like a subtle but important turning point. Instead of moving through your days on autopilot, there is a growing desire to be more intentional about everything. You might feel drawn to organize your physical space, to clean areas you've been avoiding, to declutter environments that have accumulated too much weight. These actions may seem simple on the surface, but they carry deeper meaning than you might initially recognize. They are physical expressions of an internal shift toward order and alignment. A new perspective on productivity begins emerging that might surprise you. The old idea that you must constantly do more to be valuable starts to soften and lose its absolute authority over your choices. Something more balanced takes root. The understanding that consistency matters more than intensity. Those small, steady actions create lasting change without leading to the burnout that always follows unsustainable effort. As you move through this energy, a quiet motivation builds inside you. Not rushed or pressured, but steady and focused. A desire to create routines that actually support who you are becoming. Systems that make your life easier rather than more complicated. Habits that align with your deeper values rather than just surface obligations. Beneath all this practical adjustment, a deeper realization forms. The way you treat your time and energy directly reflects how you see your own worth. This awareness does not arrive as a heavy accusation. It comes as a quiet understanding that shifts everything once you see it clearly. Because once you see it, you cannot unsee it. And from that recognition, the reset continues unfolding, guiding you towards something more balanced and sustainable. As this sense of order takes root in your body and daily life, the shift moves even deeper. Your relationship with work and responsibility begins coming into question. The way you measure your own value starts to change. There has been a pattern building gradually over years where effort became tied to identity in ways that were never healthy. Where doing more and producing more and staying perpetually useful became a way of proving something that should never have needed proving. The energy of recent weeks may have pushed this pattern to its absolute limits, showing you clearly where it no longer works. And now, under this Virgo moon, there is a quiet but unmistakable shift in how you see the entire structure. It begins with a realization that does not come through logic alone, but through direct feeling. A bone-deep sense that constantly pushing yourself is not the same as genuinely moving forward. That being busy is not the same as being aligned with your purpose. This is not about rejecting responsibility or abandoning meaningful goals. It is about refining your relationship with them completely. Virgo does not remove effort from life. It makes effort more intentional, more directed, more sustainable. It asks you to look at what you're carrying and question whether all of it truly belongs to you. There may be responsibilities you have taken on out of pure habit, expectations you have been meeting without ever questioning their origin, roles you have been fulfilling that no longer reflect who you actually are. In this phase, there is quiet permission to release what is unnecessary, not dramatically, but gradually with growing awareness. You may begin setting boundaries where there were none before. You may start recognizing when you are overextending yourself, and instead of pushing through like always, you choose differently. These choices seem small at the moment, but carry a deeper shift in how you relate to your own energy and life. There is also an opportunity to reconnect with the actual purpose behind what you do, to bring meaning back into work and responsibility, not by doing more, but by aligning what you do with what feels real and sustainable. This is where Virgo's precision becomes genuinely powerful. It helps you refine and adjust without overwhelming your capacity. Quality over quantity, intention over pressure. A deeper emotional layer touches on self-worth in profound ways. The realization forming is that your value is not something requiring constant proof through achievement or sacrifice. It exists independently of how much you produce or give away. This understanding may take time to settle, especially if you have operated from different beliefs your whole life. But the energy now supports that transition, reinforcing it through daily experience. As this understanding takes hold, something fundamental changes in how you move through life. Less urgency, less pressure, more clarity about what actually matters. Decisions become easier because they are no longer driven by need to prove something, but by genuine desire to create something supportive. The reset in work and responsibility becomes not just external change, but true internal shift. As deeper alignment forms, energy connects everything, unfolding into larger patterns you can finally see. Physical awareness, restructured daily life, shifted relationship with work, all coming together, creating a sense that something is genuinely stabilizing after endless uncertainty. Forward movement begins with a specific quality you need to honor. It does not rush or push for drastic overnight change. It emphasizes consistency above all. Real transformation happens through small repeated actions, through choices seeming insignificant but carrying compounding long-term impact. Patience becomes essential, not forced or frustrating, but naturally aligned with pace of genuine change. How you perceive progress shifts. Instead of seeking immediate results and visible validation, you start valuing stability and sustainability in unprecedented ways. Being grounded becomes more important than rapid change. In that shift, something deeper settles within you. Trust in the process, in the timing, in how things unfold even when the full picture remains hidden. Quiet awareness emerges that you are not the same person from the beginning of this month. Something has genuinely shifted. You have seen more clearly, felt more deeply. Now you move differently because of everything experienced. Energy prepares you for what comes next, not by pushing prematurely, but by grounding you exactly where you are, helping build a stable foundation from everything just lived through. The reset is not temporary, not a brief pause before returning to old patterns. It is the beginning of a new rhythm continuing to unfold step by step. Something even quieter emerges now, shift in how you relate to the inner world, moment to moment. Not obvious like routine or work changes, but perhaps the most important layer of all. Growing awareness around thoughts and reactions and subtle ways you move through your own mind. Space opens between what you feel and how you respond. Gap that was never there before. Energy becomes almost meditative. Slowing things enough to notice patterns that once felt automatic and inevitable. You catch yourself in moments where a quick reaction would have occurred, and instead there is pause. Choice. Quiet awareness allows different responses than ever before. Not perfect control, but growing consciousness of the process itself. More presence to experience as it unfolds. Gentle unraveling around perfectionism occurs. High standards softening into something healthier. Virgo in balanced form teaches refinement rather than pressure. Improvement rather than punishment. Clear invitation to release the need for everything being exactly right before feeling okay about yourself. You see how pressure has influenced thoughts constantly, creating unnecessary stress, making simple things heavier than needed. This realization comes with understanding and compassion rather than judgment. Growth does not require perfection. It requires consistency and awareness. Something softens inside. More patience with your own process. More willingness to move forward without every detail figured out. Ease that may have been missing longer than you remember. Subtle strengthening beneath softness. Clearer boundaries not just with others, but within yourself. More awareness when energy scatters across too many directions, when attention fragments, when you say yes to things not aligned with who you are becoming, growing ability to step back and choose differently. Internal clarity reflects outward, quietly but meaningfully. Conversations are more intentional, decisions are more grounded, less reactive to external circumstances, less overwhelmed by noise. More centered in your own space regardless of surroundings. Gradual recalibration building with each conscious moment. Deeper alignment leads to the final layer. Quiet readiness feeling different from anything before. Not urgent or pressured or anxious. Steady, grounded, real. Prepared for what comes next, not because everything is perfect, but because connection to yourself has never been stronger. Something significant about this moment exists even without surface drama. Cosmic movements throughout the month have guided you through release, awareness, integration. Eclipse brought hidden things to light, revealed buried patterns and emotions and truths. Now Virgo moon transforms revelations into something practical, something actually supporting life moving forward. Everything comes together in a way you can finally feel. Body awareness, restructured daily life, shifted work relationship, thought clarity, all forming new foundations beneath feet. From here you move differently, not forcing change through willpower, but naturally choosing better because you have seen what no longer works. Quiet closure arrives. Not a traditional ending, but completion of something needing to finish. Emotional intensity that once overwhelmed now feels distant. Not because it was unreal, but because it has done its work, showed what needed seeing. You no longer stand where you stood when this began. Different energy guides you forward now, valuing balance over extremes, consistency over urgency, awareness over blind reaction. Challenges will not disappear, but you are better equipped to meet them without losing alignment. The most important part of this shift is its subtlety. No single dramatic moment changes everything at once. Transformation happens in layers, small realizations, quiet decisions gradually reshape the entire path. This is a change that lasts because it builds slowly, intentionally, aligned with who you truly are. As tomorrow arrives and Virgo moon begins its work, Immediate external transformation may not appear, but paying attention, you will feel it. Mind settling into clarity, body asking for and receiving care, choices shifting effortlessly toward what genuinely serves you. This is the reset you've been waiting for without knowing you waited. Not loud or forceful, but precise, grounded, deeply supportive of everything you are becoming. The more you move with it rather than against it, the more you realize something essential. Nothing has been broken. Everything has been guiding you here. To this moment of clarity, where life finally makes sense in a quieter, more meaningful way than you ever imagined possible. Trust what is unfolding. It has been leading you home all along,